IBM Think 2025, Flexing for the Future. IBM's Quantum Flex Plan redefines how enterprises access innovation. At Think 2025, IBM didn't just show quantum systems. It restructured how organizations access them. The announcement of the IBM Quantum Flex Plan may not have made front-page headlines, but for CIOs wrestling with R&D unpredictability, it was one of the most grounded and consequential shifts. The Flex Plan enables enterprises, startups, and research institutions to pre-purchase access to IBM's quantum hardware in a project-based model, and use that time as needed across flexible intervals. This isn't just a pricing shift, it's a posture shift. IBM is signaling that it understands quantum isn't like traditional cloud. It's bursty, collaborative, and rhythmically tied to grant cycles, lab timelines, and internal milestones. Rather than forcing enterprises into rigid subscriptions or continuous usage contracts, the Flex Plan introduces the quantum equivalent of reserve instances without the penalty of wasted capacity. At Greyhound Research, we believe this is not just a customer-friendly update. It's IBM quietly rebuilding the operational scaffolding for enterprise quantum adoption. This move echoes patterns we've seen in HPC and AI infrastructure maturity. Flexibility at the access layer becomes the unlock for sustained experimentation at scale. From research windows to real-world scheduling, traditional models of accessing quantum computing, whether usage-based or tied to academic queues, have struggled to serve enterprise buyers with programmatic timelines. The Flex Plan addresses this gap by introducing a reserved access mechanism that allows organizations to time their quantum computing usage according to their internal project gates. For researchers who require sporadic bursts of compute tied to grant approvals, publication windows, or development sprints, this approach finally maps to reality. And for CIOs managing hybrid R&D infrastructure, Flex fits alongside internal HPC clusters and AI pipelines without adding new operational unpredictability. According to Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 57% of Global 2000 R&D and innovation leaders said their top complaint with quantum trials to date was the inability to schedule compute sessions predictably. The Flex Plan directly addresses this constraint and turns access planning into a solvable procurement workflow. Reframing quantum as programmatic infrastructure. IBM's Flex Plan isn't just about removing friction. It's about reframing quantum as a standard IT capability, not a lab experiment. Much like container orchestration brought cloud-native applications to the CIO's dashboard, this move begins to shift quantum from a siloed research novelty into a resource that can be budgeted, tracked, and strategically governed. At Greyhound Research, we've long maintained that quantum's biggest enterprise barrier is not scientific, it's operational. The Flex Plan transforms what was once a sporadic special access process into something with provisioning logic that CFOs and heads of innovation can rally around. Greyhound Field Notes from Think 2025 revealed that multiple CIOs from multinational healthcare, logistics, and telecom firms had paused quantum initiatives not because of disbelief in the tech, but because we didn't know when or how we'd be able to use what we were buying. With the Flex Plan, IBM is now allowing these teams to map quantum access to quarterly sprints and policy windows, not just availability on a shared calendar. A new layer of governance and predictability. Beyond access, what makes the Flex Plan interesting is its quiet acknowledgement of quantum's maturity curve. IBM is no longer positioning quantum as a privilege. It's treating it as a utility, one that must be auditable, schedulable, and governable. Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 also revealed that 48% of CIOs now include quantum budgeting in their strategic IT roadmap, even if full applications remain 24 to 36 months away. However, without mechanisms like the Flex Plan, these CIOs told us, it's hard to justify recurring spending in the absence of repeatable access. The implication here is clear. It's not just about giving quantum researchers access. It's about making that access legible to CIOs and CFOs. This is quantum's first real bridge into portfolio planning. Across multiple closed-door sessions at Think 2025, enterprise leaders shared frustration with their inability to integrate quantum compute cycles into their DevSecOps frameworks or R&D reviews. In one Greyhound Field Note, the CTO of a European automotive OEM noted, "Our AI models and simulation engines get resource allocation tied to product timelines. Quantum was always an exception. Flex makes it an asset class." A US-based life sciences firm shared a similar observation in another Greyhound Field Note. Their head of research said, "We know quantum matters, but try explaining to your finance lead why you're paying for hours you can't schedule." This changes the conversation. Even system integrators voice support. A Greyhound field note captured a comment from a lead at a global IT consultancy. FlexPlan is the first thing that's made our clients say, maybe we can plan quantum into Q4, not just experiment when we get a free slot. At Greyhound Research, we believe this kind of operational normalization is the real unlock for quantum enterprise readiness. The systems are improving, but the consumption models must keep pace. Flex is IBM's attempt to bridge that gap. This isn't a product update. It's a signal. The IBM Quantum Flex Plan isn't a new feature. It's a new framework, one that respects how enterprises work, how research happens, and how procurement cycles operate. It moves quantum computing from the margin to the workflow, not as an exotic outpost of innovation, but as a deliberate component of an integrated R&D pipeline. In doing so, IBM is making a statement that quantum isn't about rare air or gated access. It's about readiness. And readiness means alignment with how the enterprise actually consumes technology, manages uncertainty, and reports progress. It's not about moonshots anymore. It's about quarter-to-quarter strategy that includes quantum as a credible, schedulable capability. At Greyhound Research, we believe the true significance of the Flex Plan isn't in its pricing grid or usage terms. It's in what it tells us about IBM's direction toward infrastructure-grade quantum, governed workflows, and CIO-aligned innovation. This is not a soft launch. It's a hardening of posture. In 2025, that's not a future state. That's a baseline. And for quantum to truly matter to the enterprise, this is precisely the shift that is needed to happen. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.